One night, a man named Hoffman was on his way to meet a very important figure. McVie, the CEO of a giant pharmaceutical corporation. Hoffman was a former employee of the company, and he was in possession of incriminating documents that could destroy the company's public reputation. After being fired, Hoffman was constantly harassed by thugs hired by the CEO because he still had those sensitive files. Finally, a truce was arranged between them using a third-party intermediary. As a condition, Hoffman had to hand over the original documents to the CEO. Shortly after they left, a mysterious man who had been observing their meeting the whole time emerged. His name was Ash. He tailed Hoffman to ensure his safety. The truth was, Ash was a third party who had orchestrated the meeting. He had a rare profession. He was a world-class fixer. He specialized in facilitating lucrative payoffs between corrupt corporations and the individuals who threatened to destroy them. As an insurance policy for both parties, Ash kept copies of the incriminating documents or crucial data, just in case one side decided to break the agreement. Ash himself operated from a secret headquarters used to store all the sensitive documents for his clients. Both parties, Hoffman and the CEO, had to pay a significant fee for his services. It's safe to say Ash made a lot of money from this line of work. He often received threats from the corrupt companies, who saw him as a parasitic leech. They were usually unwilling to pay large sums to both the whistleblowers and the intermediary, Ash, who facilitated the silence. The interesting part was that his clients had no idea who the man behind the intermediary was. Ash worked in the shadows. He conducted all his business through a specific communication device, a text telephone relay service, commonly used by the deaf and hard of hearing. A user would type what they wanted to say to the other party, and an operator would read it aloud. Ash hid his identity through meticulous planning and a strict set of rules, making it impossible for anyone to trace or record his conversations. Outside of his work, Ash attended a support group for addicts trying to break free from their dependencies. They motivated each other and shared inspiring stories. It was there that Ash met a police officer named Washington. Wash was a former alcoholic who had been sober for 9 years and was striving to perform her daily police duties well. Let's shift focus for a moment to a woman named Sarah. She visited a law firm to hire a lawyer to help her with a case. Just like Hoffman, Sarah had just been fired from her company for uncovering evidence of legal violations at her workplace. A former biotech scientist, she had discovered data about a genetically engineered wheat that should never have been released to the public, but the company had hidden the information. Since then, Sarah was transferred to another division and then fired without a clear reason. While she still held a copy of the documents, she was now being followed and terrorized by company-hired thugs. They even set her parked car on fire. Sarah came to the law firm seeking help to reach a settlement with the company. Part of her wanted to go public, but she had changed her mind, especially after the relentless harassment. She was now considering a peaceful resolution, which required a middleman to guarantee her safety. The lawyer, feeling this was beyond his scope, declined but gave her a number to call, which of course was Ash's number.
24 hours a day. Just call if you need anything.
That very day, Sarah contacted Ash. This is where we see how Ash operates with a new client. Using the full name and personal ID number Sarah provided, Ash first conducted a background check on his potential client. That night, Ash contacted Sarah via the relay service to understand the problems and challenges she was facing. By law, these relay calls were not recorded and the conversations were confidential. The communication was one way. The operator would read the text Ash typed, and Sarah's spoken words would be typed out by the operator and sent to Ash. After Sarah explained her situation, Ash advised her to buy a new cell phone, because her current one was likely monitored and tapped. She was only to turn the new phone on in public places. When the company's henchmen went to the relay service office, they got nowhere because no data was recorded. The next day, Ash called back to accept Sarah as a client. His fee was set at $50,000, which would be refunded after a successful settlement with the company. Furthermore, Sarah had to follow all of his instructions without question. Ash then prepared a set of instructions, a phone, and a manila envelope for Sarah. He worked with extreme care, leaving no fingerprints or traces behind, and had the package delivered directly to Sarah's apartment. The instructions required her to send a package containing the $50,000 in cash and the incriminating company documents sealed inside a manila envelope. While Sarah was preparing the package, the relay operator contacted her again. She was ordered to take a flight to another city the next morning. Meanwhile, on an airplane, we see a Muslim man who is none other than Ash in disguise. After landing at the destination airport, Ash handed an empty bag to the lost and found counter under Sarah's name. Sarah then received instructions to ignore any announcements from the lost and found staff and to just sit tight. The goal was to mislead the people tailing her. The plan worked perfectly. When the lost and found staff announced Sarah's name over the airport speakers, Ash was able to identify all the people the company had sent to watch her. Meanwhile, Sarah was instructed to hand her package over to the airport post office with a new address Ash had just provided. However, Sarah carelessly threw the shipping receipt into a trash can. The men following her, of course, retrieved it to see the delivery address. Fortunately, Ash was still there conducting surveillance and could take countermeasures. Ash outmaneuvered the company's lackeys at the airport, splitting their focus and confusing them. They were left to discuss their next move. They later went to intercept the package at the post office of the intended address. But when the clerk checked, the package wasn't there because the destination had been changed.
Can you tell me something? Will the new destination?
On the other hand, Ash casually retrieved the package himself since no one was watching it. For now, his identity remained safe and undiscovered. Now in possession of the package containing the cash and the vital evidence, Ash's next move was to contact a relevant company to broker a settlement. He then placed the phone inside the van the company's men were using to surveil Sarah. Still using the relay operator, Ash conveyed that he now held the critical documents capable of destroying the company's reputation. He stated that if the company refused to cooperate, he would release everything to the media. He explained that he was the intermediary hired by Sarah to broker a peaceful settlement. Ash would arrange a meeting between Sarah and the food company. At this meeting, Sarah would return the copy of the documents to their rightful owner, the company itself. Following this, both parties would abide by the rules and cease all harassment of the other. If either side violated this, Ash could easily destroy them because he held the key evidence. The company was also charged a service fee of $500,000, as they were effectively also Ash's clients now. Finally, Ash demanded that the gang of thugs hired by the company stop following, tapping, or terrorizing Sarah for the comfort and safety of all involved.
Well, that's a lot of money. How do we trust your client's intentions? Go ahead.
Ash then returned to his secret headquarters to make copies of the incriminating documents. He would send these to the company as proof that he truly possessed them. The next morning, the company's men prepared the $500,000 for delivery to the address specified by Ash. They secretly slipped a tracking device with a 5-day battery life into the package. They then sent the tracking number to Ash, and an online check confirmed the package was indeed en route. Meanwhile, Sarah was able to resume a normal life, even going outside without the constant fear of being terrorized. Unbeknownst to her, Ash, still in disguise, kept a distant watch. He realized that Sarah was just as lonely as he was. That night, Ash broke his own protocol and called Sarah directly using a disposable phone. He was starting to get too personally involved in her life, bypassing the relay service that protected his anonymity.
Nice.
The next day, Ash went to the shipping depot where the $500,000 package was sent. In disguise, he rerouted the package to a new address to throw the thug off his trail. With 3 days left until the scheduled meeting, Ash got a call from the thugs. They claimed their boss had received the documents, but there was a problem. There were only 311 pages, when there should have been 327. Ash checked his files at headquarters and confirmed that pages were indeed missing. When he contacted Sarah, she admitted she had intentionally held back those pages, claiming they weren't important. Ash was deeply disappointed that she had disobeyed his instructions. Despite his frustration, Ash chose to help her fix this mistake. By the book, he should have dropped her as a client for her recklessness. But with time running out, he disguised himself as a security guard to retrieve the remaining documents directly. He instructed Sarah to place the envelope containing the missing pages under the bottom stack of newspapers at a newsstand. The thugs, however, were still surveilling Sarah. They were on site, watching her place the documents. Ash was unaware of their presence. When he went to retrieve the envelope from the bottom of the pile, it wasn't there. He urgently called Sarah, who confessed she had made another mistake, placing it under the bottom left pile instead of the bottom right one. Ash had to think fast to get the documents, now fully aware the thugs were watching. He paid a homeless man to retrieve the newspaper stack for him.
It's my fucking bitch!
Finally securing the documents. However, the thugs managed to capture a blurry, silhouetted photo of Ash on camera. Ash was furious with Sarah's carelessness and intended to terminate their contract, but he found he couldn't just abandon her and wanted to see her through this. He vented his frustrations at his support group, speaking in vague terms to protect his identity. Wash, the police officer with relatively high rank, was moved by his implied struggles and offered her help if he ever needed it. Ash refocused on his work, finalizing the time and location for the meeting between Sarah and her former company.
You
you understand?
Yes, I do.
Copy to ensure everyone sticks to the deal.
The day of the meeting arrived. Ash watched from a cafe across the street, but no one showed up at the appointed time. When he called Sarah, she revealed she was meeting them at a different location. She explained that the thugs had contacted her, claiming they knew the intermediary's identity and had successfully identified Ash. Sarah said she was trying to protect him by moving the meeting. Realized it was a trap, Ash rushed to Sarah's location. He brazenly pulled the building's fire alarm to create confusion, then grabbed Sarah and took her to a safe place. On the way, Sarah expressed confusion about why Ash was going to such great lengths to protect her. Ash revealed that the name the thugs had for him was wrong. His real identity was still safe. He gave Sarah a new identity. After ensuring she safely boarded a train out of town, Ash left her. He then contacted the thugs to inform them Sarah was gone and the contract was complete, thanking them for the $500,000. However, shortly after, when he called to check on Sarah, one of the thugs answered her phone. They had captured her and threatened to hurt her unless Ash returned the original documents. Stumped on how to save Sarah, Ash reached out for help from his only contact, Officer Washington, but she didn't answer, as it was the middle of the night. Early the next morning, Ash agreed to meet the thugs. He was suddenly tasered, knocked unconscious, and woke up tied next to Sarah. The thugs weren't interested in negotiating. They just wanted Ash to lead them to his headquarters to get the original documents. When their driver suddenly swerved, Ash saw a chance to fight back. Just as he was about to overpower them, Sarah tasered him from behind. The ultimate betrayal was revealed. Sarah was their leader. The entire thing, from her playing the desperate client to every careless mistake, was an elaborate ruse to uncover Ash's identity and retrieve the original documents he had obtained from Hoffman at the very beginning of the story. They were all working for CEO McVie from the giant pharmaceutical corporation. Sarah pretended to need help, deliberately making errors to lure Ash out of the shadows. Ash, who had developed real feelings for her, had taken risks far beyond his normal protocol. Once they arrived at his headquarters, Ash activated an emergency security protocol, allowing him to escape. Confronting Sarah, he surrendered and told her to shoot him, but for some reason, she couldn't do it. At that moment, Wash arrived with backup police officers and arrested the entire gang. Ash retrieved the $500,000 from the company's earlier payment. He shared a portion of it with the relay operator as a thank you for years of service. Later, on a train, Ash spotted a suspicious man. Thankfully, the man was just looking for his friend, not for Ash. Ash smiled with relief, having finally leaked the pharmaceutical giant's crimes to the public. For now, he was moving to a new city in search of a safer, more peaceful life. He was ready to find a new job that would bring him some peace of mind.